Ah, shit. Okay. All right, well, watch the cutscene. I fucked it. Ah, shit. Okay, well, I did get that done once with the speedrun style. What was my time on the other thing? Like 11 minutes or something? Knackle Knight might know. I think Knackle Knight knows. Either way, it's review time! Yay! Eh? Okay. So guys, let's talk about this. Let's watch this cutscene first. Because I can't watch it in the fucking game, because there's no, it just doesn't fucking have an option to watch cutscenes that you've unlocked or seen. Don't read it too much in the background. Or I'm gonna get into this. Okay. Let me just look up Returnal true ending cutscene or some shit. I think I actually have it pulled up on a different random ass site. It's like a 13-minute video, but I have it here. Let's listen to my high history first. Do you guys want me to do Blaze review? Because I will. I don't fucking mind. That'll be fun. I'll probably like talk some shit on it or something. I've already organized my thoughts here, like at least for establishing fucking whatever. My high history first. Oh yeah, that's just wrong. I mean, for a couple things. So, if you remember earlier, I talked about, in particular, sorry Kirby, you're too big. I had this so perfect earlier. Have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen this? Okay, I'll make this big. Big. Final boss fight, 4K. Let's go full cutscene. Let's not do the whole full pan of the trees because it takes a little too fucking long. Can you guys hear this? Looks like it. Octopus. All right, so that's Celine. That is definitively Celine. Fucking the article that this YouTube video is embedded in literally had the same problem I did, and I confused who was who. Thea is driving. Thea is Celine's mom. Mom? You can tell because it zooms in her eyes here. She doesn't have heterochromia. Yeehaw! So definitely Thea. just to put it out there. It's the only info they give for that. Yeah. Doesn't have heterochromia. Now, if I'm gonna point out some shit here. Ah! Sorry, no, it's just It's an astronaut. Hostility. Right. So, bam, astronaut. Hit an astronaut on the road. Now, the whole fucking plot point of this game is that this is like this weird flashback memory that she keeps seeing vague bits of, and weird house memories that she's seeing when she's visiting the house that you can't rewatch, so I'm just kind of vaguely guessing at my memories here. She didn't ask about the white shadow here. No, she did. She does. I might have zoomed ahead a little too much. She said something with white shadow like quickly. Well, okay. So look, Cloud taking over the child, just taking the child, fucking grab him. Maybe that's just the hair. Who fucking knows? Doesn't matter. Took Thea though. Thea gone. Okay. Here's something that's just fucking dumb as hell. So, watch this. Oh, come back. Take it back. Okay, back to Atropos. Yeehaw, that's just the whole thing. Nothing happened. There's so much you could kind of vaguely guess about what this even means. it doesn't really matter. It's all kind of fucking vague and convoluted for no particular reason because they didn't add any closure. They don't explain anything. Do you see the white shadow? Yeah, who fucking knows? White shadow. So the thing comes back. Okay, now the funniest thing about that is that on the Wikipedia for this fucking game and this particular other thing, this is where this video was in the article for, which also confused fucking Celine with Thea or whatever the fuck. I thought it was Celine's kid and Celine was driving. Wrong. That's what this article thought too. So I'm glad someone else had the same mistake I did. Granted, Wikipedia here. Fucking, what is this? Where's the end here? This pissed me off when I read the fucking synopsis for like the house. That's Housemarque. Oops. I was looking up stuff. His fucking dumbass comment. First of all, I think that's just bullshit. That's just not right. I don't know why it's on the fucking Wikipedia. All the fucking smoke just took it up before she could reach the surface. And then she went down. I don't know how the fuck you can even think that's what's happening. Either way, you wake up after you win back on the planet anyways, and then there's no more dialogue. The dialogue just kind of cuts off there. There's no new dialogue. There's nothing like that kind of acknowledges anything. It just kind of ends at that after you've collected the shit and you get that extra cutscene. You just get to know that, oh, surprise, you were the astronaut all along. And it's just kind of fucking dumb, which I'll get to later because it's not dumb like in that sense. It's dumb for a couple other reasons that just don't really compile onto that, because you can do all that weird shit. I like weird shit. In fact, when that happened, I was excited because I was like, oh shit, so I was the astronaut all along. But then there's no explanation or anything for anything. And the entire plot of the game revolves around two paradoxical plot points, which are, I guess, deliberate, because you're the astronaut, you caused the accident, and then also, what was the other one? There's, oh yeah, she shot herself down as well. But like, they never touch on why, because how could they, I guess? They just couldn't figure out a reason for why, or they just didn't want to. They just wanted to leave everything vague, I guess. Doesn't matter. The point is, let's get into the real review with this big ol' whiteboard here. So let me have the chat somewhere as well. I see it. Okay. That's what the sequel is for? Yeah, right. God. Okay. So, general plot. Let's, no. I gotta clarify some things. That's why it says at the top here. For maybe this is just me, but my impression from when I heard about the game and learned about the marketing of the game, fucking saw some ads, whatever. The impression I got was that Returnal was gonna be a AAA roguelike, the first AAA roguelike. But that's just wrong, and I think I might have just misinterpreted it, because they never strictly said that, I don't think. So I think a little bit of this is on me, but still, the expectation was there, because they did say something roguelike elements, even in their like first ad with a YouTube video. So there's two different expectations you can come into playing this game. You can go in thinking it's gonna be like actually a roguelite or a roguelike, whatever, or you can just go into it being like, ooh, new game. And I think that's definitely the one you want to take, because this game is actually not a roguelite. It's a AAA third-person bullet hell shooter with roguelite elements. Now, to explain that, the roguelite stuff is just permanent progression across, like, you know, multiple deaths or whatever. It carries over. Now, I'm not gonna try and get into the kind of nonsense of how it works for the fucking gear that you acquire, or the weird alien tech that inexplicably works with your suit, because it was made for her. Everything's made for her. If she caused everything, she fucking just started it all. It doesn't matter. It's just, there's so much shit that kind of doesn't matter, but like, whatever. You can ignore it and still criticize the major stuff. But don't get me wrong, I really like this game. But let's continue. Let's start with spooky. Also, yeah, psychological horror stuff. That happens. I mean, they did it fine. Is it spooky? It's a spooky game. It is a spooky game. The spookiness kind of fades off over time, but like, I think it does its horror stuff kind of well sometimes, and then kind of not well other times. It's just kind of boring sometimes, or just kind of comical with the astronaut occasionally. But like, overall, generally pretty spooky, and they did a pretty good job. I can't fucking live riot. No, that's me. Hi. I think you know, just spooky setting. As far as like spooky in the gameplay though, the atmospheric gameplay during the gameplay while you're fighting shit, spooks that can happen, just enemies that appear behind you. The controller really helps with letting you know what's happening all around you, especially all the on-screen feedback with all the stuff around your character and stuff. But like, I think it can't be undersold that the PS5 has a very interesting system going on here that just kind of links into your brain while you're playing it, because it's just fucking telling you a lot of information if it's actually in the game or built for like the controller. But I mean, like, spooky during combat and gameplay, yeah. Spooky during cutscenes and stuff, yeah. Okay, it did an all right job. I give it an A. They get an A for spooky. I'm just gonna write on it. Fuck, I don't know, man. I didn't really plan ahead. I just did this stuff. Gameplay. The gameplay for this game is fucking fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's really high octane. Granted, there's definitely some things to criticize and kind of more arbitrary things that I'm sure some other people might just criticize it directly for, but like, mid-combat, going room to room, you can go around fast. The fucking grappling hook is really fun. There's a lot of really good quality of life stuff that make the platforming around like actually really nice, despite me like falling off all the time. That's usually on me. But like, you can just latch onto ledges, you can fucking grapple from anywhere, turn around the screen. It's weird that you can't adjust your sensitivity. Still not sure why. Gameplay, I already gave the gameplay 10 out of 10. I really like the gameplay of this game. It's very nice. It really proved that the PS5 has a fucking, I'd say, good future, despite all the crashes and shit we had to deal with at the beginning. But aside from that, fun gameplay, very nice. You gotta be very aware of all the shit happening on screen, but controller help. PS5 controller, nice. See, I wrote it down. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. The lore rooms and archives, the scout logs, just lore, general kind of just story stuff that helps on with the lore and tags on it. It's fine. It's all right. It's not amazing. The scout logs were really interesting at first, but alongside the story kind of petered out over time. Particularly with her talking to herself. But like, that wasn't a thing she ever utilized, which is bizarre. Shit, man, I'd fucking like, oh, I mean, like, she's talking to herself or whoever's getting the log. She knows it's probably her talking to her. It'd be weird. She's picking them up and hearing them. I don't know. I think they could have done better with those in particular. But like, you could have kept making these. They could have just had more dialogue for her after the fucking game was done. I don't understand why you beat the last boss, you fucking watch this true cutscene, and then you get to the fucking, you return on the ship and she just doesn't say anything and it's just done. Like, they clearly did not mean this as like a game you're meant to just keep going over, despite the fucking extra hurdle you have to go through to get the true ending. Too loud. But like, it was just kind of a weird thing for that. Oh yeah, this gets a B. There we go. Oh wait, yeah, no, that's right. That's what I was talking about. It's just, I got lost in my thoughts. I didn't do a high review, guys. Sorry, it probably wouldn't go well. The zones, there's 6 zones. There's 3 zones, but they're good. Abyssal Depths is really fun, especially with all the enemy types there. I'm gonna give them an A. Yeah, no, they get an A. It's good. They're really good zones. Yes. What? Would have been, yeah, you guys, if you have any questions, by the way, on anything I'm saying, just fucking write it. I'm probably being a little unclear. We'll see. Later runs, you can leave those logs, or fucking, nah, that's a little convoluted. How do you leave your own log with a voice line? SMS. Zones good, lore, gameplay, spooky. The bosses were all cool. In the context of it being not like a super replayable game, like past once you've done it all. The bosses themselves, they're kind of wild, they're kind of neat. However, the permanent progression side of the boss battling leaves you like, there's no real point to fighting them most of the time after you've fought them once, because you can just skip it. And you get an artifact, which, again, I'll talk about, I think, a little bit here in the variety section. But, like, you fight the boss, you're kind of just done with it. It's very cool. They have some interesting designs, particularly the frike on the top of the tower. the second Frike, Music Man Frike. Yeah, tree piano boss. That guy. I really liked his design. I really liked his fucking just fight in general. Really fun time. Really fucking flashy too. One side of that is that the first boss was hard when you're learning the game in particular, and it's kind of tough boss. You can get to the basics now, but I think me and probably some other people, I died to the first boss a few times before I beat him, and then on that run I killed the other two bosses on the first try that I had not seen before. Yeah, sound design also. I didn't talk about that, but that's just because it's fucking fantastic. That's in the spooky, I guess, and the general stuff. Either way, just gotta B plus. Specifically, not in like terms of design, but just because of how you fight the boss and then it's just done. What's going on? I'm reviewing Returnal and going over a lot of thoughts. The roguelike variety aspect of this game, the guns, I really liked the guns. I really did like the guns, but they didn't have enough to build off with the guns. Thanks for the music. All right, so you have, how many guns were there? They had the spike thing. I forgot what their names are. Thermogenic launcher. You had the weird proximity, not proximity mine, the mind thing. The carbine, the hollow seeker, and shotgun-ish kind of thing. The pistol, and I think one more that I'm just kind of forgetting. Oh yeah, the weird fucking awkward sniper that works well if you're using it really well, but also if you don't have upgraded overload, it fucking blows ass. The pile and then electro pylon. I think there might be 9 or 10 weapons. I like the variety of guns. I think there was actually plenty of guns for, you know, just a difference in gameplay with all of them as well, and you unlock them pretty steadily throughout. I liked how the system worked as well, where they had like a secondary that could be anything. You unlock it, fucking upgrade it over time. The whole roguelite element of the game is that the longer you play it, the more stuff you upgrade, the easier the game can kind of be, or is capable of being, particularly in the gun system, because you can upgrade all of the fucking little bonuses that you have up to 2 and 3, which you can see in the single daily challenge mode that they have, which is the only other mode that they have that's not the regular game that you can do once a day, and you can't do it outside. It's fucking weird choice. Guns, very good. They get an A+. Now, the thing about the guns is that they could have been a lot more fun feeling if the perks and artifact, or if the artifacts / perks like really felt like they were doing much of anything most of the time. Most of the time you just kind of go across and just pick them up, and it doesn't really feel like it matters what you're picking up. It just kind of boosts your character a little bit, particularly in the augment area, where those are literal just fucking percentage increases in your stats, which is kind of boring. But if they had made like an interesting system where things could get a little, I don't know, not necessarily crazier, but a little more interesting feeling and different per run, that is not just so reliant on the guns, the game could have had a lot more kind of, I want to say, just spice and pizzazz going for it on a regular basis. But then again, here I go again. There's just not a lot of unique effects for the artifacts in particular, which not a huge deal. However, when you market the game like you're doing it and saying it has roguelike elements, also the blade balancer thing, that fucking, they're just kind of unnecessarily cryptic about some shit in particular that apparently you might learn more about if you look at it, fucking researching them over time. But yeah, then there's multiple extra life things. They're just extra lives. I'm gonna give him a C. There's not enough interesting shit. There's just not enough interesting stuff for artifacts. That's it. It's all just base stat upgrades or kind of like little bonuses to whatever you're doing already. Augments, don't even need them. Fucking alongside that, I don't think you need augments in this game at all. I think if they had just gone directly into the fucking what I just been talking about, you don't need these. There's no variety to like how you're building, because you're just picking up shit when you get it, and it's like, yeah, that'll help, I guess. It doesn't really matter. The parasite stuff on the side of that as well is the only kind of more interesting side of it. But even the parasite effects are all just the same as the artifact effects with a detriment to them. And I do like that. I like a whole detriment system tied to something you can pick up. You get a detriment on a positive effect. I actually really like the parasite stuff. It's a little wonky how I think it could have been better. I'd probably give it a B. I didn't write it down, obviously. Whoops. But I don't know. It was all right. It could have been a lot better, but it was definitely worked for how the game was actually functioning for being like a 20 to 30 hour experience or game. Stages, very nice. They're very nice. Not just the stages themselves and the locale. I already talked about that a bit, but the way the level, what do you call it? Like the level pieces, like the building blocks for all the zones, were all very cool, and how they increased in difficulty and whatever the fuck after. Granted, the kind of, I'll talk about this, I think, in a bit, if I haven't already. I don't remember what's on the other side of this foley, so... yeah, just like all the extra little rooms and stuff that you go to, they're good. It's good. They're nice. And good job with that. Those felt like pretty nicely crafted and easy to traverse and nicely spaced around and stuff. A lot of little shit, I don't know. The side of that was kind of weird, but again, it kind of ties to the viewing it as a roguelike or just a regular game, but maybe not. I don't know. The permanent progression system they have, you get when you beat a boss and you unlock new alien tech that allows you to get the grapple and walking in water and walking in lava shit or whatever the fuck. All of that was very counter to, like, I guess the whole system that was in place. And I don't know fully how to describe it. I had a good sentence yesterday that I wrote down and I didn't fucking write on here. But it didn't really work in tandem to the kind of progression of the game, because you no longer need to go to the bosses once you beat a boss. We have all this new tech to traverse it all fast, so you could go to the boss and you get a single artifact, which will help you a little bit, but not really, because you can get enough artifacts by just going through the rooms anyways. And it's, 9 times out of 10 just gonna be faster doing that anyways, and you'll probably get less damage taken because you're not fighting a boss. The progression felt kind of stunted in a weird way, because you could do a lot more, but everywhere that was unlocked was just this more of the same. It was all just health or, extra stuff. There wasn't like too much extra stuff you were getting out of getting the permanent progression. It was just kind of more leniency that you're unlocking over time. That was it. Again, that's the roguelite permanent progression, just reducing the difficulty the more you play. That's that. And I like that if it's done well. I think I always bring up Hades because it's done really well, and they have an interchangeable system in that fucking mirror. I can't not bring it up when I talk about any roguelite or any sort of roguelite based system. I really like the guns. They fucking did a good job of it. That's a very good implementation of a roguelite system. Enemies, fuck the bats. I don't fucking like the bats. They're mean. You have to dodge them at a very specific window, and if there's too many of them and you're not shooting them, they'll just fuck you up. And I've died to them many times, especially the one in the statue, which I thought was hilarious. I'm glad they randomly put bats in statues. That was a very nice touch, because they were very sparse when you break a statue, and suddenly a bat would come out, and if you're not paying attention, you'd probably get hit. Pretty funny thing. I like that. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, the enemy variety was actually really nice. I thought A+. Very good enemies, very cool animations. They didn't really have any, like, interesting behavior to a large degree. They just kind of went after you, but I think they were really well designed, and they look really nice, and they're fun to fight most of the time. They provide a real good difficulty depending on what weapon you're using, especially. The stages, I'm gonna give them an A. Good. Get an A. I don't know what kind of arbitrary just fucking school grading I'm doing right now. It doesn't really matter. The story. Let's talk about the story. Okay, this is where I kind of have a lot of gripes. Like, I think the story could have actually kept going the way it did, but it stopped at a point where they introduced more fucking questions and no answers other than who and never a why or what. Fucking, you shot yourself down. Oh, why? We're not gonna fucking tell you. You just did it. You're you. Why wouldn't she, right? Why the fuck would she? I don't know. They didn't explain it. They're never going to. Hi, kitty. Hi, baby. Oh, sorry, cat. That's not even the main thing. That's just one of the two paradoxes that are just core to the main story. More they ask questions than never get hints or information. The fucking me being the astronaut, Celine being the astronaut that caused the accident may have been an interesting development if there was something to build upon that, or that built into something that was like, I don't know, they have a lot of room for any kind of eldritch weird shit, but at this point it just seems like it's all imaginary, especially with the single house scene that just had you as a kid, which was Celine playing the fucking game. I don't know if that was just a weird PS5 plug mid-game while you're playing on a PS5, but it seemed pretty fucking dumb either way. You're playing Returnal at home. Oh, maybe that's where she got all this fucking interesting information from. Oh, it was just a game she was playing as a kid, and then she just imagined everything. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe she was an astronaut and got trapped, but then she just went back to the planet for no reason. Fucking... I was not a fan. If someone can like pick apart the story and really fully explain it, tell me when they do, and I'll watch it and be like, holy shit, they did it, wow. But until then, this is dumb. This is very dumb. This ended at a horrible point, and it just kind of petered out alongside the story just kind of doing this. Like, what the fuck? So, the quality of the story. It started out, you have a very interesting concept. And then it gets more interesting. You're like, oh shit, I was already here. I'm leaving messages. I've died a bunch before I've even gotten here. Then you get to post third stage, which we watched the cutscene of earlier, mid fucking run, which sends you, you get a distress signal out. They save you. You go back. You die. You live a whatever fucking life. And then you die. It makes a tad bit more sense if you have a solid understanding. I do have an understanding of Greek mythology. I don't remember a lot of specific Greek mythological stories because there's a fuck ton of them. But I know all the logs were talking about some fucking mythological tales. That's not the point. This is what they're getting across and what everybody is going to play when they buy it. They're not going to read every log, everything they pick up. Most people don't just read every single lore thing they pick up. A lot of things are just kind of felt like pickups, and if you're interested in it later. The problem is that when you fucking do that in this game, everything just starts getting worse. Because you start fucking seeing all of these things with no reasons to them, and just like, well, mythology. One of the names that I use are pulled for me. It's like... Exactly, this is the thing, okay. So, poster stage, you have this thing, you go back, or whatever. That's where the story kind of like peaks off, and you're like, holy shit. What? Why have I gone back to the planet? I did not break the cycle at all, but apparently I had a chance to go back. Did that actually happen? Was it just her little brain telling her what she wanted when she stuck her head in a hole? Probably, that's probably more likely. But apparently not, because fucking who knows? Besides that, do you remember the cutscene when I fucking pointed something out? That hole? Yeah, well, she stuck her head in that. That thing's in the ship. And that's how you change, like, the time period. So she stuck her head in the ship and then she came back. But I think it's just an imagination hole. That's all it is. I don't think she ever got saved at all. I think that's just a theory. I mean, like, that's just a weird thing that happened that kind of just added a little more confusion and intrigue. But then once that happened, you start playing the game and everything kind of stales at that point because nothing interesting gets added at that point. Nothing changes. It just kind of keeps saying the same thing over and over again. But she doesn't really go insane like too much. She just kind of gets like a normal amount of like kind of crazy shit. She just kind of is more into tentacle things in general. And then you get to the end and you see the spooky man and whatever. You finally get everything collected so you can go see the fucking true ending because you've heard about it. You have these things, whatever. Whether or not you just heard about it or decided to keep playing to find these things you just apparently didn't have yet. It is here when it says you were the astronaut the whole time. What? Well, and that is truly, that is a moment that's like, holy shit, what does that mean? And then they don't tell you anything, and then it's just fucking gone, and then the game's done, and you're just like, what does that mean? So, the whole story being fucking based on two paradoxes caused by herself kind of made me really not like the story. Because they don't go into detail as to why she may have caused the paradox, why she may have been forced into causing a paradox, why she had to fucking shoot herself out down in the first place. Because she just walked away from a turret and was like, oh, I did that. And then you just keep playing. What? Why? So anyways, I have to review this on two different ends. Who? Why? They did the whole fucking game. They tell you who. That's it. That's the only thing they answer is who. They never tell you why. They're never gonna get into why because there is no why. They can't fucking handle that because it's all caused by a paradox. There can't be a why because they just can't tie it together for some reason. Either they were just cut short or they just didn't know how to fucking end it. We're like, fuck it, she did it. It doesn't matter. The point is, it was bad at the end, but it was a really intriguing kind of setting. It didn't make the game bad necessarily, but it was fucking dumb. But again, there's two ways to review this, okay? You can review it as a 20 to 30 hour game you complete with roguelite elements, because that's what it is. That's what it is. What it was marketed as was a AAA roguelike, and I think that might have just been misinterpreted in my brain. I don't think it was fully just like, oh, I get the AAA roguelike, but I'm pretty sure that was like one of their selling points, because it's involved in how they designed the game. The point is, if you go in with the expectation of this being a roguelike or a roguelite, you're just gonna be disappointed because at the end of the fucking stuff, when most of the roguelikes that I've played in particular that are very good, where a game opens up or adds things or just kind of like, you know, finishes a story somehow and you just get to keep playing the game for whatever reason, whatever. The point is, it's just not this. It's just not. You can't even review it like it because it's just not that at all. It's a 20 to 30 hour game with roguelite elements, which are just involved in some of the systems that are used to actually make the game and make the game kind of have this weird kind of progression where that accommodated the story. Or rather, I think the story was more attached onto this kind of general setting and premise of astronauts stuck on planet in time loop, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The point is, I think the game itself was a lot of fun. Look at all these A's. We have A, B plus, A plus, C, A. There's a lot of things they did really well, particularly in the gameplay. There's just a lot of dumb shit attached to that. It is a really cool setting. I really like the tentacle stuff. It's all crazy. But like, 20, 30 hour game, I give it a solid 8. Is it worth $70? It's on the PS5. Everything's fucking $70, okay? It's if you buy a fucking console, it's a next-gen thing, it's just gonna be $70. I'm tired of people fucking complaining about the price. They're not gonna fucking reduce it. Just shut the fuck up. It's gonna be $70. That's just how it is. That's the AAA pricing, okay? Inflation is a real thing. Games were never going to stay $60 forever. That's not realistic. People aren't stopping to fucking buy it. What do you mean? The PS5 has not stopped selling out the instant it has become available anywhere, man. They're not gonna reduce the price of a game. Does it have any replay value? That's what I was saying. The game is not a roguelike. It is not intended to be constantly replayed. I am positive. Fucking, you get done with this, you're not gonna like play it again in particular, at least for a while, because the whole fucking they have a daily challenge. You can do that. That is the only available other mode that Returnal has. I will go into it. It is a high score, one chance a day that you cannot fucking... I'm not even gonna do it, actually. I don't want to. It's just there. I didn't even know it was an only one chance thing when I fucking first did it, and I just said I had a score, and then I couldn't do it again. And then I was just in the regular game, which I had already done pretty much everything I needed to. I'm not gonna 100% the game, because I don't want to. That's just a collectathon at that point. I think the game did a lot of really good stuff. Is this an Infinity? But it also just kind of... It's not what I thought it was, so I'm trying to not judge it like what I thought it was going to be. But it's a good game, and I think it sets a pretty good precedent for what a potential AAA roguelike could be, though. Like, it's just not that. Whether it was marketed like that, like a lot or not, is kind of mixed up in my brain. I feel like I thought it was, but maybe it just wasn't. I give it an 8. I can't give it more than that. I refuse. Really good job on the gameplay. A lot of stuff done really well, but Returnal gets an 8 out of 10. I'm done. That was fun. Okay. I didn't eat the food. You can play smart, reduce the price of future games. Also, yeah, the whole launch problems, I didn't even get into. Like, but, I mean, again, I'm trying to review the game, not the fucking problems that I had on launch. That's that. Shit, man. Like, so, thoughts? Does anyone else play it? Agree? Disagree? Fucking, I'm gonna post that on the stream channel, just the whole thing of it. So, either way, that was a good time. All right, I'm gonna take a quick little break. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and stuff, and then when I get back, Noida, a real AAA roguelike.